So I'm almost done with this wrap. This is a matte green from Avery Dennison on this Model Y. And I got the trunk left, plus the mirrors. You can see the mirrors aren't on. I'm ready to do the trunk, and I've had a lot of people ask me, how do you wrap the trunk? Especially with one person. It is very difficult. I usually use two people, so I'm gonna try this by myself. If I can't get it, then I'm gonna bring my dad over to hold the other side, and that's usually how we do this. But this film is a little thinner, so it's easy to stretch. It does stretch really nice, and so I think I'm gonna be able to do this by myself. And I'm gonna bring you along for the process. I'm gonna try to capture as much as I can. It's gonna be hard. This is the most difficult piece on the car. The front bumper isn't that really difficult. You do need a person to hold it. Actually, you don't need another person, but it makes it more convenient to hold the as you're stretching the bumper. I could do the back bumper by myself. In fact, I did this whole car except for the front bumper. My son helped me out holding that. So this is kind of difficult to do this in one piece. Now, a lot of people do this in two pieces, but you really don't need to do that. This stuff works really well. Some materials you kind of do need to, but again, it is very difficult. Just like figuring out what your wife or your girlfriend or whatever wants for Valentine's Day. That's coming up. And that's why today's video is sponsored by Beck Aesthetic Surgery. It's a plastic surgery center down in Charlotte. It's on the south side of Charlotte, and it is a beautiful facility. I've been down there helping out, getting things all set up. It's a brand new building. So yes, it's a plastic surgery center. So yes, they do plastic surgery. So if you're looking for a breast augmentation or anything done to your face, and that's what he loves to do. So he's a great doctor for that. They also do hair replacement surgery. Maybe that's why they had me read this. Anyway, they have a med spa there, which they do all sorts of facial work. They do the injections, they do lasers, they do skin and facial treatments. They do the works there. They do so much stuff there. There's a link down below, and I'm probably putting it on the screen here, all the stuff they do, but they do so much. But also, my wife told me to say this because, my wife runs the place, but she also told me that they're hiring. If you have these credentials behind your name, they're looking to hire you for the surgery center. So if you want to work at a very beautiful bougie place, get some really nice clientele in there, and you want to work in Charlotte. Charlotte, North Carolina is beautiful here. If you're freezing right now up in Wisconsin and you want to get the hell out of there, email your resume, get a job there. Great community, great people, great working environment. It's a brand new facility. It's so nice. It is so nice. It's really nice. You'll like working there if you want to buy a gift card, or if you want to get some work done there. You'll like it there. It's way beautiful. Click the link down below. Check out Beck Aesthetic Surgery for everything. Maybe some Botox. Maybe I should get rid of these. Get some more up here. Get rid of these. Get rid of these. I'm getting older. Color my beard. Maybe I can look 40 again. Oh wait, I'm 45. All right, so what I've done so far is obviously cleaned it, but I do run tape along the glass here that basically, so it doesn't stick really hard to this, but also I cut 1/8 of an inch on the glass. It doesn't cut the glass because glass is really strong, but this just helps with, once I cut this, I can tuck the vinyl underneath there. Even though this is a dark finish, you won't really see it, especially with this matte green. And you know what, let me show you this car. Matte green looks amazing. Let me turn some lights on. This is a really good color. I've done matte green with 3M before, and this looks a lot better. This looks more army green. Looks way better than the pine green. This just looks really good with all the trim. This is a performance, so the red calipers go really nice. I think I'm gonna put the eyelids on here as well. And it just looks really nice. I gotta ceramic coat this still. And you see, I do take this thing apart quite a bit. This is on, I take this black trim off. And with all the black trim, this looks really, really good. Very military-ish. Once I'm done, I do clean up everything. But right now, the trunk piece is all cleaned up. I got the taillights out. I do have this propped up a little bit, so nothing is going to be touching along here. Helps me get underneath it and stretch the material out. And you can see in the background, I've got my next wrap set up. It's going to be kind of cool. I put a little bit of spray wax on this edge. Basically what that does, it keeps this from sticking too strong, and then I'm able to pull even better, especially with one person. It's going to allow me to pull this and I don't get the dust. What the dusting is the glue and the backing falling off, and it looks like there's dust underneath. Now, funny story about this car. I was supposed to wrap this last summer, almost a year ago. They got in a car accident in the front end and had to get it repainted. And it's just been a long time with them figuring out what time they can get it in here, and the color. So I've actually had this for a couple weeks. They're on vacation out of the country. They come back right before Valentine's Day. So maybe they'll have time to get a gift card from Beck Aesthetic Surgery. Anyway, from a little bit of bad paint from the body shop, but all that stuff is covered up. You don't get to see it. Rock chips and things like that kind of disappear pretty much with vinyl over top of it. So that's why I really love vinyl. PPF is one thing, the same color. Now this is something they're not gonna have a problem finding it in a parking lot, and that's what I'm all about. My next car will definitely not be able to be missed in a parking lot or anywhere, but this one, you'll be able to spot it just like that. Because, well, first of all, Tesla doesn't make a green Tesla, but they don't make a matte green either. So this is gonna be really cool, and yeah, that's gonna be awesome. So let's get to the trunk piece, one piece it. Let's see if I can do it. Leave a comment down below. Do you think I could do it? I hope I can. I've done it before, but every material is a little different. So I got you propped up a little bit so we can do this all in one take, hopefully. I'm gonna have to move you around a little bit, but I've got my wireless mic so you can kind of hear me. And I've got this prepped, so it's ready to go. And I have the vinyl. I'm just gonna lay it out and stick it up there with some magnets. Now the trunk is magnetic actually, but really the only thing on this car that's not magnetic is the doors, the hood, and of course the bumpers are plastic. So I'm just trying to even this out a little bit. Paper's still on, so just above this arm by like 2 inches or so. And there's just a lot of extra here. So what I'm gonna end up doing is kind of like the way I do a hood, I pull the backing off from underneath, and this will be pretty much flat. But as I lift this up, I'm gonna use this IR heater. This thing is really cool. It's really bright and hot. So it's gonna heat it up in a big area, and I'm gonna be able to stretch that way, and hopefully be able to get this done. So it's gonna be tricky to get the backing off, by the way, because see how this is draped over? And this is a compound curve, so it goes this way and this way. So we need to stretch it a lot. And that's why it's easier with 2 people. So if you have 2 people, get them. But I'm kind of curious to see if I can do this. Again, I've done it before, but it's been warmer. I do have the heater going behind you. Ooh. Sorry for the noise. All right, we're done. Just kidding. It needs to be stretched quite a bit. And actually, I might be able to stretch this without heat. We're good there. I'm just gonna put the magnet up here just for safety so it doesn't pop off. But what we're doing is glassing out, and actually I'm going to be able to stretch this without heat, which is going to be really nice. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm pulling right where the spoiler goes, and yes, there's tons of wrinkles. I'm not worried about that. I'm really just focusing right here on the spoiler. being super careful. And you notice I took my sweatshirt off because sticking my arms underneath there. Ah, yeah, this is going to come out nice. I'm really happy with this. A no heat stretch is always the best because then you're not going to have, you know, you're not overstretching. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is focus on these wrinkles. I've got this stretched out really, really nice. I'm gonna get rid of these. So the way I do that is, actually, didn't even need this. I'll need it probably later. But what I'm gonna do is slice up the middle. Now this is on glass, so it's not gonna scratch anything, but it does cut through the vinyl pretty nice. It's still hard to grab. In a second, so I'll look up and start using anymore. So where's grabbing? All right, so I'm just gonna tuck that up there. I've got that one kind of set. You can see this one. All right. So right there's a bunch of junk. Let me pull you closer. I'm gonna do this in one take. Why not? So you can see the whole process. So lift up, and I want to lift up the vinyl so it doesn't break. Okay. I just somewhat stretched it out a little bit there. I'm not worried about this right here because I can bring that over. But what I do need is heat gun because I want to focus in, I want to use the heat gun in certain areas. So I don't want to have the giant one. I just need to have and pinpoint accuracy like a sniper with a handgun. So probably can't say gun on YouTube anymore, but so all I'm doing is softening it. I'm not pulling hard at all. I'm just making it so we just smooth things out. This underneath here, I'm going to see if I can lift up from here, drop down, and slowly, softly be able to push those lines down. All right, that looks like a little piece of dust. There was a little paint defect right there. All right. So now with this, I'll soften this up. It actually shrinks the vinyl, and we lay that down right where the light goes. Excuse me. And then we're going to pull up a little bit off to the side, stick it on the window. Oh man, this looks really good. So right here, the reason we cut in the middle is we want to bunch up and watch the lines. I'm not pulling, I'm just relaxing the film. We're going to put that up in the window. All it did was relax the film right there. And then we're going to be able to squeegee out everything. And this is going to look amazing. Let's swing you around over here. Go for a ride on this side. And let's lift up and kind of do a cold stretch in both directions here. Now with two people, you don't have to do as much fiddling, but if you don't have another person, it means you don't have another person. So just do a little bit of heat. See how those lines move? Oh, that's really cool. They disappear. And it's all it is, oh my God, look at all that dust. Ah. Sometimes you go through all this just to have a bunch of dust right in there. That's not going to look good. I don't know where that dust came from. Maybe lifting up, it pulled it from different areas. But this gives you the idea of the technique. I'm gonna have to redo this piece, and that's part of wrapping. That's part of wrapping. Sometimes you get a little too much, and I'm gonna show you this in a second, but I'm gonna show you the other techniques while this is kind of a waste. But sometimes you get that where you're almost done and you see dust speck underneath it, and you just got to deal with it, or the more important thing is you do the piece over. And what I'm going to do is actually grab my dad so he can hold this side up so I don't have anything like that. And we're going to lift this up, and I'm going to see if it's actually dust or if it's some of the glue, and I'll explain that in a second. So not worried about this section up here, but again, what you would do if you got that good, lift up, loosen all this up here. Now the metal doesn't go far, so I'm going to show you how to do that, but let's work on this. Let me show you how to do this part down here, because this honestly is super easy. You just put these down and then you just go back and forth. Slower than what I'm doing here, but you just want to push all the air out. And bubbles, you just kind of push and the air just gets out. Which is a really cool thing about vinyl. There's air release features to it. So you can't just do this. You're going to destroy it. But if you push on it lightly, the air will find the channels and go out like this. It's going to just travel into here. But let me set you up down here and I'll show you how to stretch this out. We need to stretch both sides again. So the best way to stretch is with heat. You just heat up a little bit. Now I'm just giving tension. I'm not pulling, but now with two hands, I'm gonna stretch it just a little bit. So now that's really good. And ideally you would get this part first. But again, this is a scrap piece. Practice piece, I should say. So two hands, give it just a little bit of tug. And tuck it underneath the light here. And then since we are practicing, we can get up here and pull this. That way we can give tension and push down with our thumb. And then heating this will actually shrink the film a little bit to the concave. So, again, I mentioned this is more difficult with one person. what you want is a wrap glove. While this is warm and pliable, you kind of just go straight down, and in the middle of the concave, you slowly drag your hand across, then go on top, get the rest of the air out slowly, and then right below where you just went. Same thing this way. It's a little bit more tricky because your hand is different this way. But you want to go slow, otherwise it'll fold over. Oops. Just got a wrinkle there. So pop it back up. That's what's nice about vinyl. It basically heals itself. And then at this point you can take the squeegee and slowly work out all the air all the way down. Then I would pull this back, heat this up a little bit, soften it, and then roll this underneath, and then trim out everything. But that's quickly how you do this with one person failing, of course. But let's go see if that's really dust underneath there or if the glue separated, because that's a big difference. Pull this back, and yeah, it was dust. So you can see, where's the light? You can see this right here, that's a piece of dust, because if I move it, it kind of spreads like that one there. Like this one right here, it'll kind of spread. And a lot of dust got in there somehow. Even some right here, and that's what it looks like. So when I pulled, let me yank this. So yeah, you see there, that is dust. So I probably pulled out here as I was lifting up hard because I was by myself and not being able to stretch it all at once. I actually probably, with the elastic and the air, pulled the dust out of here, pulled the dust out of the inside here, and well, it just ruined this piece. A 5 foot by 6 foot piece. So I'm gonna cut another one, have my dad help me with it. Not film, but you saw how to do it, and you just trim everything out. Kind of sucks ruining this piece, but you know, you do this for changing the color. You're changing this to make it look awesome, so why not take the time and make it look perfect, or as perfect as possible. And sometimes it takes two people, and that's what I'm going to use. So stay awesome, stay positive. Even if you make a mistake, stay positive. I'll catch you on the next one. You know, a lot of people wouldn't show the fails, but if you don't fail, you don't learn. You're not pushing yourself hard enough.